Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back, loyal viewers. I'm Kerry, the nosy housefrau, and today I'm sticking my nose in on the piping hot tea that is Jeffree Star's video about something. Well, someone must have rubbed that genie's lamp he's living in, because he finally broke his silence and addressed, not much, actually. In his most relatable move yet, Jeffree appears fresh out of the makeup chair in a bathrobe on a gold crushed velvet couch larger than some apartments I've had. It's like he saw the Pomeranian's bed and was like, that! I want a doggy bed big enough for a horsey bed. That thing is so huge, it could almost fit all the subs he lost by the end of that mess of a video. And you know that's more than a busload. The backdrop even looks like a subliminal halo message as Jeffree somberly shares his truth. Before I even started watching, I decided to look at this video as if Jeffree were important to me, like a son or a dear friend. I wanted to hear him with as generous an ear as I could, because I know, by virtue of disliking him, I am biased. When someone doesn't like you, nothing you say will sound right. And there's a reason why defense lawyers often don't want their clients to take the witness stand, because a jury will find reasons to disbelieve them. They talk themselves right into a guilty verdict. And I knew going into this that I could be guilty of that kind of bias unless I was completely honest and placed much more importance on the truth than anything else. After all, this video of Jeffree's doesn't change my life one way or the other. His popularity or his cancellation is nothing I have any vested interest in. It means nothing to me, so I went into it feeling pretty objective. It wasn't long before I felt the entire thing was problematic. Bias or not, I just didn't like this video. He starts out saying he's been reflecting and thinking about why he does the things he does. He says he wants to start a new chapter. Right there, to me, he was telling his audience that this is about turning the page on a bad reputation. He's telling you to let everything go. Not only does Jeffree not go into detail about his transgressions, he was deliberately vague. Now, I want to be clear, I'm all for second and more chances, but this acknowledgement sucked. I'll give you one example of how Jeffree minimizes any wrongdoing on his part. He says, I know I'm dramatic, I'm crazy at times, I'm outspoken. That to me is a glorified explanation of what he really is. That's him saying he's colorful. He's a lovable eccentric with that larger-than-life fun personality. Oh, Jeffree, you have no filter. He's a charming, charismatic anti-hero. That's really how he's describing himself. Almost endearing in a way, but he never acknowledges the reality of what he's been. Irascible, disloyal, catty, and toxic. Those are the appropriate adjectives. Jeffree brings up that he said never again, but here he is again. He claims he and Shane got swept up in the drama. Really? Because no one made him speak about James Charles again and double down on his insinuations again. No one made him offer to play tapes for anyone on Keemstar's podcast. And in fact, in this video, he still never admits he fabricated the accusations against James Charles. He continues to play the people got in my ear card as well. It is so old and lame, and frankly, I'm sick of hearing it from him. Is this guy going to be 50 explaining what he calls his slip-ups? I slipped up. Like being a decent human being is a wagon you fall off of once in a while? Scruples should not require a one-day-at-a-time dedication and an A-Holes Anonymous meeting. Less than 2 minutes into Jeffree's video, I found so much wrong with what he was saying. He even used Shane's style of questions. Do I slip up? Yes, I'm human. There it is again, more minimizing. Stop making it sound like it's natural human error to badmouth your friends the minute they leave the room. That's not being human. Own that. That's being a shitty human. He begins to talk about Toddy without naming her and says, and these people saying forgive people I have receipts on, that's not going to happen, that's not me. I have never blackmailed anybody. He says he won't entertain that, but his lawyers are. That's a thinly veiled threat. That's him saying, oh, you lawyered up, so did I. What nerve to continue to use the very tactics he's supposedly, and I use this term lightly, apologizing for. Because remember, his video doesn't say it's an apology video. It says he's doing the right thing. I'd like to know by whom, because that's vague too. And he just says his lawyers are entertaining this. Yeah, I'm so sure it's really entertaining for your lawyers. You get your lawyers on retainer, not entertainer. That is just such a lame threat. And as indirect and vague as one would expect it to be at this point. He's just talking out of his rear with empty threats. We've seen him do it before. I think that's the part of his nature he refers to as dramatic. Like when he told T-Spill and Here for the Tea that they had to stop their Jaclyn Hill video because she was in danger. That wasn't being dramatic. That's being full of it. That's manipulating. That's lying. At one point, Jeffree says he knows it's not always popular to be his friend. He's so grateful for his ride or dies. He makes a direct pitch to them. And that is a way to sway your millions of viewers, knowing that people want to like you. He's using his charm and his charisma to get people to want to be his friend. It's worked for so many years. It used to work on me. And I did want to be his friend. But I don't want to have friends like that. And nobody needs friends like that. He starts to charm people with, you too can start a business, and he inserts the rags to riches story again. Remember, I was homeless and working at the mall. He really makes the viewer think that he's their friend by saying you can do it too. You too can have a monstrosity couch that has to be housed in a hanger like the Spruce Goose and looks like something Versailles coughed up. But yet Jeffree was really trying to win over the viewer. This seemed so planned and calculated to me. He says he has things going on in his personal life, but he's not going to use them as an excuse, vague again, so people can worry about him. If you're not going to use your personal life to garner sympathy, why'd you bring it up? One thing I find so annoying is when beauty gurus say, this isn't tea, it's my life. That's a way of trying to shut down the discussion by saying anyone talking about you is a bad person who means harm. It's a manipulative tactic designed to label any dissent as gossip. And I urge people not to fall for the vlog shaming. Jeffree had no trouble making other people's lives tea with complete fabrication. Now that his character is called into question, it's a low-down, underhanded thing to do to discuss it. Nuh-uh. Sorry, buddy. You want fame? Expect to hear your name. When talking about Shane, Jeffree remains loyal. I have sort of felt his silence was a bone of contention within that circle, hence people unfollowing, like Morgan Ryland, and unfollowing on social media, and he maybe was waiting until he was on solid ground with Shane before speaking in support of him. He said he was shocked that people thought he was distancing himself from Shane, and that his silence was anything but support. That shocked him, that you would think it was anything but support. That was a quote. Oh, that was supportive silence? I guess people couldn't tell on account of how silent your supportive silence was. Heaven help us all from friends who support us like Jeffree Star. I also think he was waiting for the heat to die down. And oh yes, there happens to be a launch next month. What a coinky-dinky. I nearly spat my coffee out when he gave the current situation of the world, got on his soapbox about how certain people aren't getting justice and people are just going on with their lives. Really? How do you know what the rest of the world is doing? Oh, I see. You've been so busy working on that justice yourself with your huge platform. Let's take a look at your thumbnails. Me, my. Oh, you are quite the little activist. Must be more of that very powerful silent support. After the acknowledgement of how horrible the world is, Jeffree perks up and exclaims, "What's next? August is going to be so exciting." Maybe for you, Jeffree, but the rest of us are playing roulette with our health in order to keep the lights on. August is when school resumes for many people, and it's too soon. So no, August is not going to be the thrill ride for everyone that it is for you. Sorry. So in conclusion, Jeffree says he's been reflecting and claims he got swept up in drama. As if he's a victim of some outside force that fooled him. He distances himself from any of his own wrongdoings by making it sound like his own behavior was completely natural under some unforeseen manipulation that any human would have fallen for. In short, for someone with no excuses, he sure plays the victim. I believe Jeffree Star thinks his viewers are dumber than dirt. And you don't have to read much between the lines to see that he's not reflecting. He's deflecting. And he didn't get swept up in drama. he's pushing the broom. Well, if you've listened this far, I so appreciate you. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. I don't think I've said this before, but maybe I was a little harder on him than I wanted to come across as. I'm fresh off of watching his video. I didn't sleep on it because I want to watch other people's videos, and I don't do that until I get my thoughts out there so that I'm not unduly influenced. So please don't confuse my passion for my response with hate. I don't hate this person, and I don't want anybody else to send him hate either. I don't think that he's sincere the way a lot of people will think he is. I think he's sort of working his viewers and probably will come out unscathed. So what one housefrau thinks doesn't amount to a hill of beans, I'm sure, in the long run. But it's very interesting having these discussions with you, and I look forward to our interactions. And until next time, housefrau out.